Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is Dana. Today's project is going to be taking the journal cover that we made on Monday, and we're going to be choosing papers, and we're going to be finishing the process of turning that into a journal. I had asked everybody to comment if they wanted to see the process finished, and overwhelmingly y'all said, of course, yes, we want to see it done. So what I've done is the little one that I showed you that I had already done, I went ahead and finished. So I wanted to show you what this looked like. This was the granola bar box. And all I've done on the cover is I've put a little tassel on a garment pen, a bulb pen, I think they call it. And I just put several little things on here, some baker's twine, a couple little charms, some lace, and a tassel. So that hangs off the side like that. And then I just embellished the cover a little bit with some stuff, some embellishments. And what I did was I put a large eyelet on the front and back, and I threaded ribbon through that for a ribbon closure. And this is just lace on a small bowl clip. So it looks like this. I got these on clearance at Hobby Lobby for like 99 cents. So I picked up 2 packs of them, so I have like 24 of them, and it only cost me like $2. I thought that's great just to put in as like a placeholder, kind of like a paper clip. Okay, and what I want to share with you is what I did was I cut my papers too short. So what happened was I ended up with all this space in between where the pages end and then the edge of the chipboard cover. So what I did was, see how much space is there? So what I did was I just sewed in a piece of elastic onto the spine here. You can see in the back where I sewed it in. And so I decided to just put a pen there so a pen can live there to take up that space. So I just want to show you that, and then this just ties in a bow. I wanted to show you that because anytime we make a mistake, like it's always kind of tricky for me of when I'm doing something that's not a 9x12 envelope or something folded in half, and you're having to figure out a formula for how big to cut your pages, and then you're off a little bit, because if you're too big, you can always cut them off. But if it's too small, you can always figure out something to do with that space to take up that space. So any mistake you make can always be fixed somehow. So now just a journaling pen lives there, and it looks great. So that's the granola bar box, and it's all finished into a little journal now. So what we're going to work on today is the stuffing box. So what I've done, let's just set this aside, and all I did to this that we didn't do on camera was I took it to my sewing machine and I just zigzag stitched all the way around, because this is just thin chipboard with 2 layers of cardstock on it. So it went through my sewing machine just fine. So I edged that with the zigzag stitch. I've already got 2 signatures ready to go. So we're going to do the third one together. So what I've done is I've chosen 2 pieces of cardstock. This is Tim Holtz paper, and I've cut them down to size, and I want to give you the measurement size in case you have a actual stovetop stuffing box that you're using. My pages measured 7.5 inches tall and 9.5 inches wide, folded in half. Okay, so when we get the journal together, we'll see if we need to cut those down a little bit more once they're sewn in, and I'll show you how to do that once they're sewn in if they're too big. Because this one was also too big, but the pages are perfect now, and I'll show you how I did that. So I picked 2 cardstock pieces. This one's going to be the outside cover of my signature, and this one's going to be the inside. And so I folded that where this was in the middle because I wanted this to show, this whole thing to show. So it's going to be the middle of the signature. And then what I did was I picked 10 other papers that I wanted to go in between these. So we'll have a 12-page signature. And I wanted all plain paper, all just writable paper that can be written on without any design, really. I think I have too many sheets of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got an extra. So anyway, they're all just kind of, I've got lined composition. This is a 5x7 composition notebook that I took apart and coffee dyed the paper. Just want to see which side I want on the outside of these. I want the grungiest part on the outside because I love that. Okay, then I have what's called masking paper. This is very thin, okay, but it's a great surface to write on. You can get this at Lowe's or Home Depot in the painting section. And it comes on a roll like this. It comes on a huge roll, and I've used a lot of this, and this will last me forever. I'll probably never have to buy any more because I bought the brown one, and then they also have kind of a darker green one. And so it's super thin, but it's a great writing surface. So I've got that. So I've got those. Then I've got some colored paper, that 2 pieces of colored paper that I coffee dyed. I did a coffee dyeing session the other day. So I've got green and purple. This is, you can't see it super well. It's very faint. This was grid paper. So I've got a couple pages of that here. You can see it. And I love coffee dyeing these because they come out this grungy, like green color because of the ink. Love that. So a couple pages of that, and then I've got 3 pages of coffee dyed paper. So that's what we're going to work with into our signature, and here's how we're going to put it together. I like to alternate. The pages I have most of are the coffee dyed paper. So this is going to be, I separated out, these 5 pieces are considered like my main writable pages. So these are what I'm going to alternate in between everything. And then I have these colored ones. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stand up to make sure you can see everything here. So I'm going to take my cover and I'm going to put, I'm just going to alternate. I'm going to go coffee dye, and then maybe the colored paper, and I'm going to use the purple because I think it looks good with this blue that's on the other side. And then I'm going to take a writing paper, and then I'm going to take let's take one of these graph papers, and then we'll take another coffee dye paper, and we'll use our masking paper here, and then we'll do another writing paper, and we'll take this other colored paper, and then we'll do coffee dye, let's see, coffee dye paper, our last piece of graph paper, and then our middle. See how that whole thing's gonna show? And it's as simple as that. That's our signature, okay? Now the last thing I kind of wanna add to this, I'm gonna make sure that masking paper is so, looks like it might be a little too tall. I might need to cut that one down just a smidge. So let me do that real quick. Yeah, because it's pretty much lined up there at the bottom, so it looks like it's just a little too tall. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut a little bit off the edge of that. Now it should fit okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now I don't have anything hanging out off the top. Okay, so that's our third signature. So here we go. Here's our 3 signatures. Now I'm going to look and see what order I want to lay those out. I've got my green cover here, and I really think one or two, because this one's different. These two are from the paper pack we used, and this one's different. So this one's definitely going in the middle. And I just need to decide whether I want this on the front or whether I want this on the front. I just really love the daisies. So this is the order they're going to go in. So I'm going to put those in there and see what we have. And I do see how these are hanging off the edge just a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is, well, I don't really want to trim them down before I sew them in, because what's going to happen is, do you see how, let me use my scissors to kind of point here. Do you see how the middle pages, these are what's really sticking out? Those middle pages. And these are going to kind of get, as we sew the signature in, these are going to get kind of pushed in a little bit. So I want to see what it looks like once the signatures are sewn in. And we can trim them off once they're sewn in. What I use is just my rotary blade for that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to punch our holes for sewing in our cover. So I'm going to take my little craft knife, pokey tool, and I've already made a template. And now what I've done for making the template, let me show you how I do that. I just take a piece of cardstock that roughly measures the size of my spine. Then I fold it in half this way, and then I fold it in half this way. And see, I've written on this a 1 3/4 inch spine, 3 signatures, because I keep those so I don't have to make one every time. And I fold it in half that way. I open it up, and then I take my pencil and I draw lines down the middle. And then I space these to where they're kind of the same on each side of this line. So I kind of center this line, and it's no big deal if you're off a little bit. So I draw that line, and then I center this line between these two, the edge and the middle, and I draw that line. And then where they intersect, I poke a hole. Okay, so I've got 9 holes here because we have 3 signatures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this to where it's even, and there's my dogs barking. Sorry about that. Hush. Hey, quiet. Okay, so I'm going to center this to where it's kind of even top and bottom and in between my spine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke a hole and just make a mark in each of the holes. Okay, so now I've got a mark. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a little mark with my pokey tool where each hole's supposed to go. So then I'm just gonna go through and put my pokey tool all the way through each one of those holes in the cover. So that our needle will fit through. So we have a big enough hole for our needle to fit through, okay? And those go all the way through to the other side. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on one signature at a time. So what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna start with the last signature. And I'm gonna open it up to the middle. And what I'm gonna do is, I've got 4 binder clips here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna really press that together right there, making sure it's straight. I don't wanna open it all the way up to do this. You wanna keep it kind of in a V, because that's how it's gonna sit in the book. So I'm pressing those together as much as I can, and then I'm gonna clip them closed so that they don't move while we're trying to sew this together. So pressing those together and then clipping them. And we're going to close those. And then what we're going to do is take our template. We're going to lay this kind of in a V. I'm going to put our template matches our pages perfectly top to bottom. So we'll just take our template, lay it in there, hold it, and I'm going to poke a hole all the way through using that middle grid. Okay, and now we've got holes in our signature for sewing. So we're ready to sew this one in. Okay, I've got this is just embroidery floss. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 lengths. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to take 3 lengths of my journal. And then I'm going to thread the needle. And this is just an embroidery needle that has an eye big enough for us to be able to to put that embroidery floss through. All right, now I'm going to take my cover. I'm going to make sure my signature's right side up. I'm going to make sure that my book is right side up. I'm going to turn them sideways. I'm going to go through the middle of the signature. And then this is our last signature, so we're working with this last row of holes. And then I'm going to go through the middle. And I'm going to leave a tail. Okay? I'm going to come on the outside, and I'm going to go through the top hole. And then the top hole of my signature. Sometimes it can be kind of tricky finding all the holes. I'm just not seeing it correctly. So I'm going to pull my needle all the way through so I can really look at that. Find that. And I just unthreaded it. This is not going through. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm going to go back through the middle, leaving a tail, coming through the top, it does not want to find that hole. There we go. Okay, now we're through both. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way over here to the last hole, thread through the signature and the cover, making sure I don't pull my tail through. And then I'm going to come back through the middle, which completes kind of our stitch on the outside. And I'm going to come through making sure, well, you can make sure once you're through, and at this point I can unthread my needle. I've got my threads on either side of that middle thread running up here. So I'm going to use that middle thread to tie my knot onto. Okay, so I'm going to tie this as tight as I can without breaking the threads. And I do like a triple knot. I tie it like 3 times. And then I clip my threads. And that's it. That signature is in. Okay, so now we're going to work with our next signature. So we've got that one in here. And yeah, it looks like those are going to just be over the side here. Okay, so I'm going to work with the next signature. Open it up to the middle. Really pressing those together, making sure they're as tight as I can get them. And clipping those down. Okay, taking my template, lining that up and poking my holes. And I'm just poking straight down, not at an angle, just straight down. Okay. I'm going to take 3 lengths of my thread. Ooh, I hope I have enough. Oh, goodness. I may not have enough to finish. 1, 2, 3. Cut that off. Let me see if I've got enough on the other. 1, 2. Oh no. It doesn't look like I have enough. I'll have to pause and see if I can find another. I think I might have another one. Okay. So we're going to make sure that we're right side up on this one. Let's see, how do I want that design to go? There's not really a design on the other side. I think I want it like this. We're going to take our cover, and we're working now with the middle set of holes. Going through the middle and through the middle hole, leaving a tail, coming up through the left-hand hole. And you can start on either side. It doesn't really matter if you go to the left or the right. Oh, that worked so much better that time. Okay, there's our tail, coming all the way up to the other side here, to the top, whatever side we didn't go through. I'm going through the hole there, and the signature and the cover, pulling that, and then back up through the middle. Can get a little bit tricky once you have other signatures in there, but you'll be able to get it. It's not hard. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. All right. So I don't have one on either side of the middle string, so I'm just going to tuck one over, pulling tight, and then tying our knot as tight as we can without breaking the thread. And again, I like to tie mine about 3 times. And then snip off. There we go. Okay, there's the second signature in. Okay, I'm going to pause the video for just a moment, see if I can find another pack of embroidery floss. I'll be right back. Okay, I did have extra. Yay! Okay. So I'm going to take my, oh no, I sewed in the wrong signature. Look at that. Look what I did. Shoot. This was supposed to be birds and daisies were supposed to be on the front. Oh well, birds are going to go on the front. Oh geez, where's my head at? I do not know. All right, no big deal though. This is really pretty paper. Okay, so we're going to kind of fold and push these together, clipping them like this, making sure they're really pressed down in the middle. We'll do the other side. Okay, let's take our template and poke our holes. And we're poking straight down. 1, 2, and and 3. I'm not sure that middle one got through really good, so I'm going to just make sure that these are really good. Okay, making sure that we're right side up. We're going to take 3 lengths of our floss. 1, 2, 3. Thread our needle. Where'd my needle go? There it is. Oh my. Well, looky there. That got all messed up. Take me forever to sit here and thread the needle. Good gracious. There we go. Get in there. There we go. Okay. So what should have been our middle signature is now front signature. I'm going to turn it and work with it this way so that these signatures aren't really in my way. Okay, so we're going through the middle. And then the middle hole of the cover. Leaving a tail. I'm going to go through the top hole of the cover. Well, bottom hole really. Then I'm going to go through the bottom hole here. Okay, lay those in there. Okay, go all the way down to the hole at the other end, through the signature, and then through the cover. We've got our tail here. Okay, and then back through the middle of the cover and the signature. And there we go. We'll slip this onto the other side of the thread, and we can unthread our needle now. We're going to pull tight on both strings and then tie 3 times. And there we go. It's pretty quick. And there we have our signatures in. It's that simple. It's just a little fidgety. Not hard, just fidgety. Okay, what I'm going to do is stop this video here because my phone is going to cut it off, and I want to show you how to cut these off. Okay, so come back for part 2 and we'll finish this up.